So this afternoon we are going to explain the President JFK 2 ASC model to you. You've probably seen one of the videos on the installation. Right now we want to focus just on the features. The JFK 2 ASC is one of President's top models, and by definition it is a feature-rich model. So we'd like to show you how the unit actually works, and then what are some of the interesting features that you could benefit from. So first things first, to switch on the unit you have the on-off button, and the unit is connected right now to a power supply as well as to an antenna cable at the back. And as soon as I switch the unit on, you heard a little beep, as well as you should be able to see a digital display, which, if my memory serves me right, is on channel 20 in AM. So with that, before we start on the actual usage of the unit, there are a couple of things that I would like to point out as being very important. The first is this button over here. This is the microphone gain button, and this adjusts the sensitivity of your microphone. When it is all the way on the left hand side, as I just turned the knob, the microphone is picking up very little sound. So you could be speaking with the microphone a couple of inches from your face, and perhaps you will not be transmitting anything because there will be no detection. If, on the other hand, you turn the microphone gain button all the way to the right hand side, the microphone is extremely sensitive, and you could speak probably a distance of 1 foot away from the microphone, and it is sensitive enough to actually pick up the signal at that level. So when the unit is working, I would recommend that you keep the microphone gain function between 50%, the midpoint, and 100%. Similar to that, you also have the RF power button. The RF power button is in fact the strength of your transmission. So if this is all the way on the left hand side, your transmission strength is effectively 0. If it is all the way on the right hand side, your transmission is at the maximum that this unit can do. And so therefore, again, going to the the bottom left hand side is not the way to go, because the unit will not really transmit. I would say a position somewhere between the 50% mark and the 100% mark is the right position. Similar to that, we also have a button called the RF gain button. The RF gain button is the sensitivity of the reception. If it's all the way on the left, you will receive almost nothing. If it is all the way on the right, your reception will give you the maximum distance of coverage. So typically, I would say if you want to maximize the transmission and reception range for your CB radio, keep these on the far right hand side. And of course, if you want to constrain the area of coverage, you can adjust them a little bit lower, up to, I'd say, the 50% mark, but definitely don't have them all the way on the left, because you will not be either transmitting or receiving. And then similarly on the microphone gain, keep it somewhere between the 50 and the 100% mark. So now we are ready to transmit. You should be able to see channel 20, which is the channel that I'm tuned into, as well as the modulation, which is AM or amplitude modulation, that is set for the JFK. It's very important because the person that I speak to has to be on the same channel as well as the same modulation. So let's give it a try. To use the unit, all you have to do is push to talk. And you can see the microphone over here. When I transmit, I will depress this button. And while I am speaking, the push to talk button must remain in the down position. When I am done, it should be released. Robert, est-ce que tu me reçois?
Oui, je vous reçois très bien. 5 sur 5.
Très bien, c'est 5 sur 5 pour moi aussi.
Okay.
So you can see how simple it is, right? I'm pushing to talk, I push the button down, and when I release the button, basically, the transmission stops, and the person that is on the other side of the CB radio is able to answer me. Now, we are transmitting in the AM mode, so one thing to show you is if I change the channel, I am now on channel 23. Robert, est-ce que tu me reçois? Now I've changed my channel, and Robert, who is from our President Electronics team here in France, is sitting on channel 22, so he is not able to hear me. So if I go back to channel 22 now, Robert and I are on the same channel, and we are both on AM. However, now I am going to request Robert to pass on to FM. Robert, est-ce possible pour toi de passer en mode FM, s'il vous plaît?
Entendu, je passe en mode FM.
Robert, est-ce que tu me reçois? Okay, so you heard Robert answer basically what I asked him. Since we are in France in the President Electronics headquarters, we are speaking in French. But what I asked Robert is if he could hear me. And he said he could barely hear me and he could not comprehend what I was saying. And the reason for that is very simple. I asked him to move to the FM mode. I myself did not move to the FM mode. And that's why the matching of modulation is as important as the matching of the channel. So to set things right with Robert, I am going to now push the button and I am on the FM mode as well. Robert, est-ce que tu me reçois?
Oui, je vous reçois 5 sur 5.
C'est la même, 5 sur 5, merci.
Ok.
Okay, so now you can hear Robert and I are both on FM, and the FM transmission, like the AM transmission, is extremely clear. So it's not so important to say AM is better than FM or vice versa. It's what is important is for you and the recipient both to be on the same modulation, either AM or FM. So that's the basic operation of the CB radio. Now there are a couple of other points that I'd like to show you. One is the CB radio itself has a loudspeaker at the bottom of the CB radio. Now, that can be convenient in some cases, but some people would like to hear the sound at a location further away. So for example, imagine that the CB radio is installed in the front of your vehicle and you would like to have the speaker at the back of the vehicle. Well, the good news is with CB and President, you can actually install an accessory, and this is a President accessory. What this allows you to do is you have a cable with the accessory that could be 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, whatever the length is, and you can actually transfer the sound from the CB radio to the speaker itself. It's very simple. To do this, all you have to do is you can actually see there are 3 jacks on the bottom right, on the top right of your CB radio at the back. The last one is labeled external speaker. So we're just going to plug in there and that's it. Now my CB radio loudspeaker here is deactivated and the sound is being transferred to my loudspeaker that I've put in front of your camera, but it could be anywhere in your vehicle. So let's make another test. Robert, can you hear me? I am on channel 22 FM.
Please repeat.
Robert, can you hear me? I am on channel 22 FM.
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see now in this case, perhaps it's clear on the video or maybe not, the sound is coming only from the external speaker. So again, depending on how you want to configure your particular vehicle, you have the possibility of using this external speaker in conjunction with your CB radio. There is another similar function, at least in terms of an external accessory with the CB radio. I would like to point your attention to this button over here.
Départ du courrier dans 10 minutes, merci.
So if you look at this button over here, this is the PA function. You can see the letter PA written over here. The PA function is a public address system. And what that does is it cuts off the CB and allows you to use the CB radio as a loudspeaker. So the connection again is very simple. At the back of your CB radio, the second jack here, the one next to the external speaker, is the PA jack. The accessory you need is as follows. This is a loudspeaker. You could get it from any company, but this is a President loudspeaker. The only important thing to note is the jack should fit comfortably in here. And once that is connected, you should push this button, now the PA function should be active, and instead of your CB transmission, now you are in a PA transmission mode. The thing to remember before you use the PA transmission mode is, if the signal is loud, there will be a lot of feedback. So typically the microphone gain should be very small here. The best strategy here is to actually put the microphone gain when you've connected the PA system all the way to 0, and then make a small test. So the microphone gain is on 0 right now. I will start to transmit over the PA system and gradually increase the microphone gain. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. So the way this works is you push to talk. So you push to talk like this, and as you are transmitting on the CB, the only difference is now the signal is not going to your CB radio, it is actually going to your loudspeaker. And the loudspeaker can be mounted on the top of your Jeep, on the outside of your house, wherever you want to transmit to the public. And the only thing to remember again is that the CB is not working at this time. So if somebody is trying to contact you on the CB, they will not be able to do so because the CB mode is deactivated and the PA mode is in play. Obviously the PA mode is a useful tool, but again, you should use it with care in terms of public disturbances and so on. And as I emphasized before, the microphone gain is an important parameter, because if the microphone gain is too high, you will hear nothing but feedback from the loudspeaker.